Random thoughts. In this video, I'm going to talk about how the British was so frustrated by the feelings of the Somalis that they were equal to the British or even superior. And this is explained by Sir Charles Eliot in his book, The East Africa Protectorate. Now, Sir Charles Eliot is a British officer who was appointed to be the Commissioner of British East Africa, and he served in that office from 1902 to 1904. Then he resigned, and he published this book in 1905. Now, this is a very detailed and comprehensive book about the land that later on became Kenya. He discusses about many things. He discusses about the geography, the people, the climate, the potential of the land, the politics, and the people, of course, of the land. Sir Charles Eliot was a very racist man. And even though some sources say he was like more liberal as compared to other British officials or British officers who came to East Africa, this is a person who believed that, of course, there were superior races and inferior races. And according to him, of course, the Europeans were superior race. And then the others came after, and of course, then the others were also put in a ladder. There were the Asians who came after the Europeans, and then there were others, the Arabs, and then you come to East Africa. He decides to also put the Somalis and the Oromos above the Bantu speaking and the Nilotic speaking groups under them. And so that's how he saw the world. According to him, the world could be explained, almost everything about human beings and politics and religion, everything could be explained through the lens of race. So when he came to East Africa, him and of course the other Europeans, they expected that everybody else was going to recognize them to be superior. And in fact, he makes that point when he discusses about Uganda or the Buganda kingdom. And he says that the good thing about the Buganda kingdom is that initially the Buganda seems like they were challenging the Europeans, but at some point they acknowledged that the Europeans were superior than them. And this is the expectation he had for every other groups of people, that every other groups of people needed to acknowledge that the Europeans were superior to them. So he comes across the Somalis, or they come across the Somalis. And one of the biggest problems they had with the Somalis is the Somalis not giving up, not letting go this belief that they are equals to Europeans. And sometimes the Somalis even believed that they were superior to the British, and that infuriated the British. And he writes about this in the book, and I'm going to read the part where he discusses those issues. He says, "It is certainly to be desired that we should utilize the Somalis. There can be no doubt that they are the most intelligent race in the Protectorate, though it may be urged with some justice that they are also proud, treacherous, fanatical, and vindictive. Too much stress, I think, is often laid on these bad qualities, and it is certain that the average Englishman has little sympathy for the Somali. He tolerates a black man who admits his inferiority, and even those who show a good fight and give in, but he cannot tolerate dark color combined with an intelligence in any way equal to his own. This is the secret of almost universal dislike of the Babu, and it reappears in the unpopularity of the Somali among East African officials. The Somali are not willing to agree to the simple plan of having a fair fight and then shaking hands when defeated, but constantly indicate that they think themselves our equals or superiors, and not unfrequently prove it. Whenever it's worth our while to occupy Jubaland and let them see a few hundreds white men instead of a half-dozen officials, which is literally all that they know of us at present, I anticipate that we shall not have much difficulty in getting on with them. The attractions of civilization are so great for them, and our superiority in this respect so incontestable, that there can hardly be any doubt as to the results. What will happen in the wider limits of Somaliland, north of Juba, is hard to predict, but the area of the south is sufficiently small to offer an easy field for extension of European influence when it's commercially and financially worthwhile. But meanwhile, I think we had better let the Somalis alone and avoid these conflicts between a lion and a swallow. So he explains the issue they had with the Somalis. And the big issue here is that the Somalis said that what he considered to be an ego. The Somalis were not willing to give up that, to be like, oh, you people are superior than us. In fact, the Somalis sometimes consider themselves to be superior to the British. And that, of course, did not go well with the British. And so he advises that while there was room to use the Somalis, he was of the opinion that maybe we should just let them be, maybe wait until there are many of us, and maybe we are going to prove that to them that we are indeed superior than you people. Those are my random thoughts.